World's gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning. Death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh, Lord, yeah.
Well, we have now entered into my third day of coverage about the Iran incident. And what we're going to be taking a look at here today is a recent interview. Well, actually two things, I guess you could say. Lindsey Graham, my disappointing senator here in my home state of South Carolina, someone I am no fan of, goes on a Maria Bartiromo show on Fox News to give his thoughts about some recent activity that took place with the Iraqi parliament. We'll discuss that later after we get through the clip. And then as we watch that clip, I'm going to roll that right on into something that we heard Mike Pompeo say a few days prior on Fox News. And we're going to view those clips and then talk about them and what sort of a message are we going to possibly see between the U.S., Iraq, and Iran very soon. So let's just go ahead and take a look.
Iraq's parliament moments ago voting to end the presence of all foreign forces in the country. Their outgoing prime minister saying that it would be, quote, the best option to establish a strong relationship with America and other nations. Meanwhile, the White House this weekend formally notifying Congress about the strike that took out Iran's top military commander, Soleimani. Joining me right now is Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. He is the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, member of the Foreign Relations Committee as well. And, sir, it is good to see you this morning. Thanks very much for joining me.
Good morning.
Your reaction, Senator, to this latest vote coming out of Iran to remove all foreign, Iraq rather, to remove all foreign troops?
Well, it's a bit concerning. I hope all the Iranians would leave, but here's the point. The Iranian government is trying to basically take over Iraq's political system. Iran is bribing Iraqi politicians. To the Iraqi people, do not allow your politicians to turn Iraq into a proxy of Iran. I got to read the details of this resolution. But here's what I think would serve the world well. If President Trump laid out what he wants Iran to do to relieve sanctions. I think this has been done before, but now's the time for the president to tell the world what we would like Iran to do to get back to a normal relationship. And here's my belief. It's not unreasonable. We would like them to stop being the largest state sponsor of terrorism, stop dismembering the Mideast, stop building rockets and missiles that could destroy the region and eventually the United States, stop being so provocative. So I wish the president would tell the Iranians, here's exactly what you need to do for the sanctions to be lifted and allow them to make a decision based on a way forward that's good for them and the region, and see what they would do.
I mean,
what? I didn't think it was humanly possible for someone to spew that much ridiculous bullshit in, how long was that little clip there? Like, maybe what, 2 minutes maybe? Whew. Lindsey, you're shoveling with both hands, man. I mean, really. So, let's break this down. Lindsey, you think that now is the time that Donald Trump should come out and tell Iran what he wants them to do to relieve sanctions? Now that he's done something that could start a damn war? Really? No. See, Lindsey, we way past negotiation time, and you can thank all your Warhawk buddies for that, because you have pissed them off. You pissed in their face. You told them, bend over, we're going to stick it to you. That's what you did to Iran. And of course, that, again, the whole notion about being a terrorist, they went on later on in that little clip to talk about that. The whole notion that this man is a terrorist. So why were we working with him when he paired up with the Kurds to fight ISIS? Oh, remember, we were wanting to arm the Kurds, right? And he, Soleimani that is, partnered up with the Kurds to fight ISIS. So believe it or not, while they're telling you about all the American blood that this man has on his hands, if he was that bad, why did we work kind of with him in the past? Now, if he does have American blood on his hands, that's horrible. I'm not going to defend him on that. Okay? And am I really upset that, the man's dead? Not really. I'm upset about what are the repercussions going to be about the fact that he is dead. Okay? And people like Lindsey Graham are coming around saying now, oh, well, I think that now is the time for Donald Trump to finally say, just what he wants him to do. You're a tad late, Lindsey. A tad late. Maybe Donald Trump should have done that before he took out someone that was arguably next in line to be the frickin' Ayatollah of the country. And someone who was very popular with the Iranians. Regardless of what our opinion of the guy may be, he was very popular with the people in Iran, because they looked at him as someone who was not just the typical old normal politician. He wasn't trying to play by those rules. He wasn't part of the government that they may have had issues with. He was a military figure, and they didn't look at him that way. Okay? So the reaction in Iran right now is certainly not one of happiness. And there was like some little clip in Iraq even where they were trying to show like some people were happy about it. Do some research on that. I mean, this was a very small number of people. So even Iraq wasn't pleased with what we did. And now, on top of that, what else did Lindsey say? Oh, it's concerning, is it? It's concerning that the Iraqi parliament finally grew a set and said, get the hell out. Then they finally told us to pack our shit and leave. Well, it's high time somebody told us to do it, because, we should have done it a long time ago. Matter of fact, we never should have unpacked in the first place. Another war we had no business being in at the time and shouldn't still be in today. Now, what's Lindsey? Well, I hope the Iranians leave. Why? Is it any of your business? Does it concern you one bit if the Iraqis want the Iranians to remain there? It's not one bit of our business who they want to affiliate with. If they want to become an Iran proxy, guess what? We gave them some America. We gave Iraq some freedom. We liberated them from Saddam Hussein. You set them up to be a country. They've got freedom of choice. Let them make their own choices, Lindsey. It ain't hard. It's rather simple. They're a country now. Let them make their own choices. If they want to move into North Korea, let them move. You liberated them. You started a war. You killed Saddam Hussein. Let them make their choices. Because you see, Lindsey, if you don't let them make their choices, if they do tell us to leave and do choose to let Iran stay, and you say, no, we don't want to do, we don't like you letting them stay, so we won't go anywhere. Well, my God, you didn't give them much freedom after all, did you? See, that funny little thing about freedom, Lindsey, is you're able to do things irregardless of what those around you may think about it, or whether or not they approve of it. Which means that if the United States doesn't like what they do as a result of it, tough tit, son. Yes, you made them a country. You took Saddam Hussein out. You said we've gave them a democracy, all this and that, but now we're going to sit back and dictate what they can and can't have freedom on. Well, that isn't very much freedom now, is it? Pure and simple. So, if they choose to let Iran stay, which they said they're removing all troops from the country, but if they choose to let them stay, maybe that's what happens when you start launching drone strikes into their country to target someone who came to their country on a peace talk mission. See, that's what's starting to come out is Soleimani was there for talks with their government. And you assassinate the guy on their land when he's just there to talk with them. That's a bit disrespectful, I would say, to them as a sovereign nation to just think you can go launching your little toys of war over into their backyard without their consent to just kill someone who's there to speak to that government, irregardless of what you may think of him. I don't care if it was Stalin back from the dead to go meet with them. You have no right to shoot missiles into their backyard without their approval to do so. Period. Period. Okay? So you're disrespecting them as a sovereign nation. And so if they want us gone as a result of it, well, that's what you get. You can't go stepping on their toes and not expect them to just sit there and get pissed about it. Okay? So that's what's going to happen. Now, why do I have a feeling that even though they said they want us gone, the United States is now about to really reveal some true colors when it comes to our decision making? We are going to, I believe, expose to the rest of the world that all this, we want to help these nations and we gave them freedom. All that is about to be exposed. Why do I say that? Well, let's just listen to what Mike Pompeo said the other day on Fox News, and I think that will speak volumes to why I'm saying that.
Any plans to evacuate the embassy in Baghdad, sir?
None.
Okay. Any plans to pull some of the 5,000 U.S. troops in Iraq out?
None.
Okay. We are.
Ooh, he trying to be all scary. None. We have none. What was that stern? Jesus. So, jokes aside, basically what he's saying is, yeah, we're not taking anybody anywhere. We're staying. Well, Iraq just said they want you gone. So are we going to honor them or not? Now, again, some of the other things that we keep hearing from the Fox News crowd, oh, Iran, the #1 state sponsor of terror, blah, blah, blah. It amazes me how some people just refuse to acknowledge the truth. And the truth is the people who contribute more to the Wahhabi terrorists would be Saudi Arabia by a lot. Oh, but they're the ally. Yeah, they're the ally. We love them because they buy us off. And by us, I mean the politicians, not you and me, because they don't really give much of a crap about whether or not they buy us off. They care about buying off, the politicians that are going to be in charge of making foreign policy decisions. They don't really care about how well they can buy me and you off. Seriously, they really genuinely don't care. So, another prime example of exactly what's going on here. That we're getting pushed right on into the makings of another war. And meanwhile, you've got more and more of the response of, we don't want regime change war, but we're gonna have to do it. Yeah, well, you pretty much just took out a very key figure in that regime, and so they've said they're going to retaliate. I fully believe them. I don't know what the retaliation is going to be yet, but I can predict with much confidence I don't expect it to be a good one. It's going to be one that's going to cause a lot of problems one way or the other, whether it causes death or just economic problems. I don't know yet. Neither option's a good one. Neither option's going to be a good one. But this whole farce mentality that more and more people on the right are starting to spit out, like Lindsey Graham, that now's the time to go to the diplomatic table and lay out what you want. No, you missed that window of opportunity when you went and took out a very key figure in their administration. And again, for the people, he took out a terrorist. I thought there was a precedent set a long time ago that we don't negotiate with terrorists. Some might say that kind of got, changed a little bit under the Obama administration. So that there was this old precedent we didn't negotiate with terrorists, and some argued that kind of got broke already. Tell me something. When did we start working with terrorists? Because I'll say it again, we kind of worked with that guy to fight ISIS when he partnered up with the Kurds. So when did we start working with terrorists? If he was such a well-known terrorist, how come when Israel tried to take him out multiple times, even the Bush administration had enough sense, and by God, that's saying something when you use George Bush and his administration and sense in the same sentence. Okay? When you're saying that Bush and his crew was smarter than this, one, again, that says a lot, and two, that is just downright embarrassing, because George Bush, in my opinion, was just, by the grace of God, smart enough to tie his shoes and wipe his ass. George Bush was an idiot. And if his crew wasn't that bad and wasn't that dumb, and this one is, that should be insulting to everyone in the Trump White House, and President Trump included. Every last one of you should be ashamed for whomever's decision it was to do this, that you are dumber than the Bush administration. Because by God, that takes some serious level of stupidity. Some serious stupidity when you can best George Bush at being dumb. But they found the way. They've done it. Bush wouldn't let Israel take him out. Obama wouldn't let Israel take him out. But no, this administration said, hold my beer, we'll do it for you. Where's that drone at? Absolutely insane. So, be interesting to see just how more of these, cavemen dumbasses want to come on Fox News over the next little while to cheer on some more war. I'll also be looking forward to that part where we see them right out there on the front line of that war. Oh, no. You won't see that, because just like in the lyrics of the song that I used at the beginning, some of you out there are going to recognize it, Black Sabbath War Pigs. Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses, evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction, in the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning. Okay? Death and hatred to mankind. That's what these people are pushing. Another little verse it gets into later on. Politicians hide themselves away. They only started the war. Why should they go out to fight? They leave that all to the poor, the blue-collar people, like myself. Even though I'm not in the military, it's people very similar to me who are blue-collar folks that enlisted because they thought it was a good way to make a living or something in today's... Now, not everyone enlisted for those reasons, but you'll find that not very many of the people who are enlisted in the military are a bunch of silver spoon rich folk. I do know of one guy who put the service of his country very high on the list and actually gave up one hell of a career to go serve. That man's name was Pat Tillman. And look what happened to him. Yeah. They leave it all to the poor. And it's a damn disgrace.